Hello and welcome to a Note for God. Thank you so much for tuning in this month. And if you haven't done so, definitely subscribe. And if there's one particular Proverbs you want to listen to, definitely click on the name on the title of the video and re-listen to them and take notes. All right, today's Proverbs 28. Let's get started. The wicked run away when no one is chasing them, but the godly are as bold as lions. When there is immoral rot within a nation, its government topples easily. But wise and knowledgeable leaders bring stability. A poor person who oppresses the poor is like a pounding rain that destroys crops. To reject the law is to praise the wicked. To obey the law is to fight them. Evil people don't understand justice, but those who follow the Lord understand completely. Better to be poor and honest than to be dishonest and rich. Young people who obey the law are wise. Those with wild friends bring shame to their parents. Income from charging high interest rates will end up in the pockets of someone who is kind to the poor. God detests the prayers of a person who ignores the law. Those who lead good people along an evil path will fall into their own trap, but the honest will inherit good things. Rich people may think they're wise, but a poor person with discernment can see right through them. When the godly succeed, everyone is glad. When the wicked take charge, people go into hiding. People who conceal their sins will not prosper, but if they confess and turn from them, they will receive mercy. Blessed are those who fear to do wrong, but the stubborn are headed for serious trouble. A wicked ruler is as dangerous to the poor as a roaring lion or an attacking bear. A ruler with no understanding will oppress his people, but one who hates corruption will have a long life. A murderer's tormented conscience will drive him into the grave. Don't protect them. The blameless will be rescued from harm, but the crooked will be suddenly destroyed. A hard worker has plenty of food, but a person who chases fantasies ends up in poverty. The trustworthy person will get a rich reward, but a person who wants quick riches will get into trouble. Showing partiality is never good, yet some will do wrong for a mere piece of bread. Greedy people try to get rich quick, but don't realize they are headed for poverty. In the end, people appreciate honest criticism far more than flattery. Anyone who steals from his mother and father and says, "What's wrong with that?" is no better than a murderer. Greed causes fighting. Trusting the Lord leads to prosperity. Those who trust their own insight are foolish, but anyone who walks in wisdom is safe. Whoever gives to the poor will lack nothing, but those who close their eyes to poverty will be cursed. When the wicked take charge, people go into hiding. When the wicked meet disaster, the godly flourish. Again, this is Proverbs 28. I always say go back and re listen, take notes. And again, look at some of the themes, right? There's always a common theme between each proverbs, or they kind of connect with each other, right? I like this part. Young people who obey the Lord are wise, right? Not, they always say the young never listen, but there are those young kids, as an educator who do understand, who do listen, right? When the godly succeed, everyone is glad. And this one really struck out to me just because of what it says. A murderer's tormented conscience will drive him into the grave. Don't protect him. The conscience, right? That's what's driving him. Anyone who steals from his father and mother and says, "What's wrong with that?" is no better than a murderer. That's another one that I had to reread a couple of times because I was like, wow, right here in the previous one, we were talking about the murder, how his conscience is going to take him to the grave. And here it's saying, if you take from your mother or your father, you're literally no better than that murderer, right? Greed causes fighting. You know what? I've seen this a lot, especially right now with inflation rates, with everything. And the rents, like, are you really rising these rents because you're not making a profit, or is it greed, right? For some of them, I just think it's greed, right? A lot of them is like, so everybody else does, so I have to do it too. And are you, I don't know. That's one of the things that I feel like if it's necessary, true, let's say you rent property, and if it's necessary, okay. But if you think about it, when you purchase a property, your property is already set at 30%, I mean, sorry, at 30 years, a fixed interest rate, right? At a fixed interest rate. So what does that mean? It means that your payment, let's say your payment is $1,100, that's never going to change. You're renting, let's say, these are just numbers. You're renting at 1,500, okay, you're making a $400 profit, if that, right? But now because you see everybody else does it, is doing it, all of a sudden you raise your rent to 2,500. Is I mean, I don't know. That's where it's like greed, profit, business, who knows? But I just think like that's a lot of things right now are people being greedy because everybody else is doing it. So I want to make money too, right? Just a food for thought for today. All right. Again, don't forget to look up some of the words, the themes, definitely the themes for that. Today's business of the day is Buzzsprout, one of my favorite, well, I should say the only favorite platform I have where I produce my podcast, also called A Note for God. So definitely take a listen to that. They are super easy. If you've ever thought about starting a podcast, comment below. On the description box, look for my link and it's going to tell you all that information. It is super easy. You literally can record your podcast, upload it, I want to say in less than an hour. At least that's what I do, right? In less than an hour, I record and I upload, put the description, and it's done, right? No, me personally, at this point of my life stage, whatever you want to call it, I don't go back and edit, right? Not that I'm perfect, but I'm not concerned too much about, oh, can somebody edit to take away the ums, right? Your message has to be out there, right? And I think a lot of us get stuck in that perfection. Like, oh my goodness, I want an intro song, I want an exit song, I want them. Look, listen to my podcast, A Note for God, and you're not gonna listen to any of that, right? The message has to be out there, right? Maybe later I will hire an editor. Maybe later I'll hire somebody to add an intro song or exit song. I don't even know what it's called. Maybe right now the message is what's important, right? A Note for God podcast has to be broadcasted. Me being stuck in perfection can't stop from producing the podcast, right? So definitely also go listen to the podcast. But like I said, if this year and if in 2022 you want to, you know, produce or create a podcast, definitely Padilla makes Buzzsprout makes it super easy for you to do so. So if you have any questions, definitely comment below. I can always help you. Again, coming next month, which I think is like next week. Wow, February, here we come. Is Sisters on the Rise, a community for women that desire a closer relationship with God. Basically, everything I would want to know once I got saved, right? So definitely comment below if you want more information. And don't forget, also next month, a four-part mini series. I think I'm going to start it on a Wednesday, whatever that first February is. I'm divorced now. What? Advice from a Christian perspective. We have different standards. I'm gonna leave it right there. All right. So definitely comment below if you cannot wait for that series, and make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you so much for listening, and see you on Proverbs.